All right, we are live. Thanks everybody for tuning in to the final installment of our 30 Days of Yoga live series segments. We are on 25 days of yoga. Today is day 25. And as promised, I said I'll be coming on every Thursday with the yoga expert. And this evening, I'm super excited to have Yiser Hotep as our special guest. I have been a fan and have been following his work for many years. This is the second time that I have brought him to the Natural Women platform, and I'm just so honored that you accepted the invitation to come back to chat it up with me for a little bit.
Well, it's always a pleasure and an honor to be with you and with your audience. So I'm really excited.
I'm super excited. So for those of you who may not know who you are, could you please just give us a short introduction?
Well, my name is Yiser Hotep, and for about the last 45 years, I've been practicing and teaching Kemetic yoga. I was probably, well, I ain't said probably, I was one of the two people who first rediscovered the idea of Kemetic yoga, or the fact that our ancestors in ancient Africa had a system which you can call yoga. Back in the mid 1970s, myself and my teacher, we did, we were practicing yoga, but as researchers, we were able to learn how to read and translate the Medu Nature, or the so-called hieroglyphs, and we figured out how to excuse me, just people racing on.
I got the same thing here. We're good.
But we figured out the system of yoga. We can go into more detail about that. And so I founded the school of the Yoga Skills School of Kemetic Yoga, and we use that school to train and certify people all over the world in Kemetic yoga. We've trained and certified probably around 5,000 people as to become Kemetic yoga teachers all over the world. Recently we founded the Institute of Kemetic Yoga, which is a not-for-profit organization which is designed to promote the idea of Kemetic yoga to our wider community and to provide various types of Kemetic yoga services and holistic health services around the world.
I love it. I love it. So, as you guys know, we've been doing this 30-day of yoga challenge, and the goal of this challenge was to get more people to relax, to get on the ground, to come back, realign mind, body, and spirit. And we've talked through this series, we talked about pregnancy and childbirth when it comes to yoga. We have talked about how revolutionary it can be for Black people to start practicing yoga on a daily basis. And tonight I felt that it was really important for us to discuss how our African roots are really entrenched in the yoga traditions. A lot of times when people think of yoga, you think of over in India with the gurus, or you see, you know, you go to yoga studios and you really don't see a lot of people that look like us. And so when you think of yoga, people think that's not a Black thing. Like, we don't do that. But I learned about 15 years ago that that was not the case. And so, like you stated before, you and your partner, you guys came up with actually making Kemetic yoga, bringing it to the forefront, because it's been there. It just no one ever pulled it out to bring it out there. So can you just tell us a little bit of how entrenched are African roots in yoga?
Well, you asked a good question. I'm gonna show you this.
Okay.
This image is from Africa, and it appears to be some people doing a yoga-like posture, right?
Yeah, right.
And this is 20 to 40,000 years old.
Wow.
And it was drawn on a cave that they found in the Sahara Desert, right?
Okay.
And to me, what we call yoga, the word yoga, you know, that comes from India. Just like right now we speak in English. So, you know, the word yoga is just a descriptive word. But to me, African people have done yoga since we came onto the planet. Yoga is as old as humanity. The idea of doing meditation, the idea of breathing, the idea of relaxing, the idea of moving your body and lifting and turning and twisting, these ideas are just what human beings do. So it doesn't belong to any one particular culture. It belongs to humanity. And from most of the evidence that we can find, we as melanated people are the original people of this planet. And so many things began with us, whether it was yoga, whether it was science, whether it was religion, spirituality, technology, all of those things started with us. You know, so that was, you know, when we first started to do our research into the idea of Kemetic yoga, that's the premise that we started with, because from reading the works of Dr. Yosef Ben-Jochannan, who wrote Black Man of the Nile and other books that we were studying, and also knowing some of these people, you know, we knew that civilization itself had its roots in ancient Africa, had its roots in ancient Kemet, in Kush, in Nubia. Mm-hmm. So it only made sense what yoga probably came from there too. The first two dynasties of China were Black people. Okay, in those first two dynasties is where you got martial arts, where you got all of the different main components of Chinese civilization was created by these original Black Chinese. Okay, you can go all over what we call Asia, and you can find that the original people was Black. You can go to India, and the original people of India were Black. Okay, outside of Africa, India has more Black people than any place else on the planet.
Wow.
So, and those original, and I'm talking about original. I'm not talking about the lighter skin. The lighter skin people came later. The original Black people of India are people who are being oppressed right as we speak by the caste system. that they put the darker skinned people at the bottom of the caste. I think they have like 7 different castes, and the lightest skinned people are the ones at the top of the caste. The darker skinned people are called the Dalit or the Sudra, and they are at the bottom of the caste. And when you're in a caste, you are permanently placed in your position. You can't move up or down. Like in a class system, you can make some money, you can move up, right? In
Right.
the system, no, that's just where you are, because it's determined by, because they say that it's determined by karma, and that you're at the lowest caste because of your karma. So I'm saying all that to say that we are the origins, we are the progenitors of everything that we call civilization. But we are also oppressed and suppressed because the truth of who we really are would upset the total system of Europe, Asia, India, China. All of this information is suppressed. But we have scholars that have documented all of this stuff.
Right. Right. And that's so interesting. That makes me think, like, are we that much of a threat as a people where our history has been deliberately kept from us and declassified and hidden?
We are a threat in the sense that we are a mighty people, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so our oppression is based upon economics, because by us being oppressed, they are able to use our labor, they are able to use our intellectual capacity. When people were brought here, when people were brought to the US, to the Western Hemisphere as enslaved people, it wasn't just as laborers, it was as scientists, as scholars also. You wouldn't have an America, you would not have a Brazil, you would not have a Mexico, you would not have any of these countries if it wasn't for the intellectual capacity that African people had, right?
Wow.
Energy. You go to New Orleans and you see these wrought iron fences, right? And gates. Those were created by African metallurgists, people who were skilled in the working of metal, the working of iron. Okay. So it wasn't just, we had scientists, we were scientists, we are scientists. You're a scientist, I'm a scientist. We're just naturally a scientists, and we were also skilled scientists and skilled scholars. And so the economics of the situation is what motivates the oppression. And so our resources in Africa are being extracted as we speak. This cell phone right here, it costs $1,200. Apple iPhone, right?
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that makes this phone possible comes from Africa. It comes out of the dirt.
Right. Crystals, all that stuff.
Yeah. Little kids is digging this stuff out of the dirt for pennies, and then they selling it to us for $1,200. Okay. And it wouldn't even work if it wasn't for that stuff that little African child is digging up out of the earth, right? And so getting cheap labor, cheap minerals, and other resources is part of their motivation for keeping us in an oppressed state. You have African countries who are paying money to their former colonizers.
Wow.
Because they were bamboozled, so to speak, into having to pay reparations to the, I'm gonna start cussing, to the people that colonized their country and extracted their human beings out of it and brought them to to Europe and to America and to South America, Central America, and so on and so forth, to the Western Hemisphere. So it's an insane type of thing. So if you got France collecting billions of dollars from its former colonies, why wouldn't they maintain the status quo?
Mm.
And so we, as Africans, the ones, the ones who are not resisting the way we are, is willingly paying the money, willingly participating in the oppression and subjugation of themselves along with their kinsmen.
Mm. Y'all, that was some valuable just rehistory. I say rehistory because we need to be reminded of those things. And I know some of us have been, but the question I asked him was, why are our people such a threat to the point where everything about who we are is always hidden and declassified? And he just gave an amazing response.
But let me put this into the context of Kemetic yoga, right?
Okay. All right.
So we started doing Kemetic yoga back in the mid 1970s, early to mid 1970s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we was talking about how yoga, we didn't say yoga didn't come from India. We just said yoga also comes from Africa. It comes from Kenya. It comes from all over Africa. I can show you examples of yoga practices. I go to Ethiopia and people just jump up and start doing some yoga positions. I said, did you go to India to learn how to do that? They said, no, I just do it because it makes me feel good.
Wow.
The whole thing is stupid to think that you got to go to India to get some yoga. Okay. So, but this is the economic part of it. There is a lie that is being told that the only yoga, if you want good yoga, you got to go to Mysore, India to get it. You got to go to India. You got to go get the gurus from India. You got to learn how to speak Sanskrit. You got to learn how to do all these different positions and stuff and learn all of these different deities and words that's associated with Hinduism. So they tell you all of this stuff so that they can control the narrative of what yoga is. Right? And so they telling you that you cannot you cannot participate in your own culture. You have to participate in our culture. And if you try to say that yoga has any other origin in Africa, any other origin in India, they say that you're trying to culturally appropriate yoga. So I get Indian people who harass me and troll me and follow me all over the internet for like the last 25 years. Wow. They give me death threats. They call me all kind of names. They like to call me faggot, right? Like, I got kids, grandkids, but they want to call me. They try to use this idea of being gay against me, because I do Kemetic yoga. It's all stupid, right? So yoga is a multiple tens of $billion industry.
Yeah.
Back in the early 2000s, people was being asked, do you want to have a yoga alliance, right? I said, no, I don't want to have no yoga alliance because I don't want to be part of no organized thing that's going to control me. But enough people bought into yoga alliance. And at first it was just a couple of little white girls sitting, they had a little office or something. Now yoga alliance is they got to be $1 billion organization now. They have 100,000 yoga schools or more registered with the Yoga Alliance. 100,000 yoga schools that's paying them hundreds of dollars each year to be members. And then you got tens of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of yoga teachers paying them an annual due to be part of that organization. So that's big money. And so when you start talking about Kemetic in Africa, you start to mess up the narrative because you're saying, well, why do I need to go to India to learn about meditation, yoga, breathing, movements, and postures, when I can go to Kemet and I can look on the walls of the temples that my ancestors left me? They doing the yoga stuff right there, and the yoga that they doing in Kemet is different than the yoga that you see in India. The second part of this, most of this yoga that people is doing that they calling, oh, it's Ashtanga and it's Iyengar and it's Bikram and all this stuff, it is not ancient. It is not no yoga that they was doing 5,000 years ago. The stuff that people is doing now comes from London, Stockholm, Sweden, and Los Angeles, California. Most of it is not no original yoga. The British invaded India. They conquered India. They colonized India. They set up their whole military educational system, and they colonized yoga. They took British gymnastics and they took Swedish calisthenics. That's what they call YMCA. The YMCA movement comes out of Sweden, right? The idea of exercising and being fit, comes, and it also comes out of eugenics. So there's a racism aspect to it. If people don't know what eugenics is, you got to like eugenics, right? Look it up. So the British in the 1800s incorporated the yoga schools with, they merged yoga with their gymnastics. And so because they wanted to train young Indian boys to become soldiers in the British Army. There's a poem called Gunga Din, right? A dude named Rudyard Kipling. He said, "You're a better man than me, Gunga Din." He's saying Gunga Din is an Indian dude who gave his life to save the cracker. That's what the whole story is about. He giving his life. So the white man said, "You're a better man than me because I wouldn't have given my life to save your black ass."
Right.
You know? And so the art is connected with yoga, right? Because yoga, if you come up with any other narrative that other than yoga is 5,000 years old and it comes from India, then they're gonna try to dispute it. So you don't see Kemetic yoga in Yoga Journal. When I first started, my students asked me, when I started doing teacher training, I ignored Yoga Alliance. And then some of the teachers, some of my student teachers asked me, would I register with Yoga Alliance because it would give them, it's the only way they can get jobs because Yoga Alliance started to get a monopoly on all this stuff. A job teaching yoga in a school or a hospital or different places, you had to show that you was under these white people. That's what I say.
Wow.
They set the standard for what yoga is supposed to be. So when I went to them, what did they do? They said, "Oh, we don't recognize Kemetic yoga." I said, "Well, you got some Christian yoga, you got some Anna Force yoga, some white woman just made up yoga and just put her name on it. You can do that. Now you got goat yoga, and beer yoga. You got laughing yoga where you just laugh, but you can't recognize no Kemetic yoga.
Trap yoga. Wow, yeah.
But so I had to fight for them to use the name Kemetic. They wanted to call it Hatha yoga. Now the word Hatha, it means moon and sun, ha and thun, ha and tha. Hatha comes from our Kemetic word Hathor. Called Hathor. The Greek called Heteru. Hathor, and then the Hatha comes. So Heteru is the root of the word Hatha. Okay.
Okay.
So while we are sitting in these yoga classes and we talking about all of these different Hindu deities, and we saying all these chants, and we talking about the word guru, it doesn't just mean teacher. It means that this person who's your teacher is infallible because his teaching is a direct connection with the creator, with God. And so while he's teaching you to his or her mouth is coming from God. This is a God man, this is a God woman who is speaking to you as God. That's why I don't like the word guru. I'm not a guru, I'm a teacher. I'm a facilitator of learning so that you can learn your own self and independently use your mind to move yourself into the direction that you choose to move into in terms of self-realization, realizing who you are and what your true nature and your true power is, and self-actualization, actually putting that information into action and creating your own reality.
It goes so deep when you sit there and think about it. And that's why I felt like it was very, very important for us to have this conversation, to talk about these things, to understand how important it is for us to reconnect to who we are. So we're coming up close to doing our break because we're halfway through the stream. But I wanted to end asking you this. When I re-put Kemetic yoga in Google, your website is the first thing that pops up first off. So let me tell y'all, if y'all put in Kemetic Google, yogaskills.com is what pops up. Just your experience, how important is it for our people to understand, not even understand, but to start incorporating yoga on a daily basis?
First of all, let's understand what yoga is, right?
Okay.
People think yoga is like, okay, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to stretch. I'm going to do this position so I can strengthen my core muscles, so I can stand on my head and flip over and all this stuff, right? That's what yoga is. That is the influence of the British gymnastics on yoga. If you look at what yoga originally was, it was about meditation, it was about stilling the mind, it was about using the breath to change the inner aspects of a person, to change a person's biochemistry, to change a person's brain chemistry, to stimulate the production of certain neurotransmitters and certain chemicals within the brain and the body that is going to change your consciousness, right?
Right.
It's just a small set of different positions. I'm talking about from the Indian perspective, right?
Okay.
So yoga is a system of self-development and transformation and transmutation. How do I change myself from the inside out? And how do I change my consciousness so that I am able to have a connection with my divine self that's within me, and also the divine from which I come from and that surrounds me, that I am enveloped with. That's what yoga is about. If you are suffering from trauma, from stress, if you are suffering from oppression, this is the perfect way to remedy that. But not by doing a whole bunch of real fast positions and stuff and say, oh, I did my yoga, I did 25 sun salutations, now I've done a lot of yoga, I did warrior 1, 2, and 3, and all that stuff. That is not the way yoga is supposed. Yoga is supposed to be slow. It's supposed to be done with the breath. It's supposed to stimulate your parasympathetic aspect of your autonomic nervous system to bring a deep state of relaxation, to allow your body to heal itself. You know, it's not yoga is not stretching and yoga is not gymnastics. It's supposed to be calming, it's supposed to be focusing. Okay. And in that way, that allows you to heal yourself because we know already that we are the most stressed out people on the planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a system of oppression. It's not simply the physical oppression that you're experiencing, it's the psychological and cultural oppression that you're experiencing. Every image that you see of yourself is negative. Every time you turn on the TV, you see yourself, an image of yourself doing something stupid, doing something negative, doing something that's unproductive, you know. So you're always being portrayed in an unflattering light. You go to the store, somebody follows you around looking at you and stuff, you know. I can go to the grocery store, I could have on a $3,000 suit, which you know. And white women come up to me, oh, can you tell me where to get the cornflakes at or something? He's like, I don't work here.
Yep.
And then I could be dressed the same way. I can get on the elevator and some hillbillies start to try to do like this, like they scared of me. I'm like, you're the one who looked scary, you know. So these are the stressors that we experience. Those are the macroaggressions and the microaggressions that people talk about. And after so many decades and so many centuries and so many generations of this same thing, this stuff starts to get embedded into our DNA, into our cellular and molecular and atomic memory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it even becomes passed on from one generation to the next. So because our habits of eating and managing stress or inability to manage stress or to be in a relaxed state is so poor, when the mother gets pregnant and she's in this state of stress and distress, and she's creating all of these stress hormones in herself, she's passing that on to the child. And then that child, when that child is born, that child is already predisposed to diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, cancer, stroke. The child is already predisposed to all those things. And then when that child comes into the world, there's no intervention of that because that child is going to have the same experiences that the mother had that caused her to have all of those different physiological reactions that she passed on to the child.
Mm.
And so I give you an example.
Okay.
I taught yoga to children. You know, I created award-winning programs for yoga for children in Chicago with Easter Seals of Metropolitan Chicago, Centers for New Horizon, Kids Hope United, so on and so forth. I had one little girl in the class. She was around 2 years old. I would put her on the yoga ball and just lay her on the ball, like lay back, you know, like a big yoga ball. I lay them on the ball and I try to get them to relax. All the other kids was tense. I put her on the yoga ball. She just laid back and she stayed there. She didn't even move. She just went into deep meditation. So I told her mother, I said, you know, your daughter is really, she can really go deep into herself. She said, oh, I think it's because I did prenatal yoga.
Mm.
And so because she was doing yoga while she was carrying that child was different than all the other kids who didn't have that, because that child was receiving breath. That mother's central nervous system was being in tune to the parasympathetic. So she was producing endorphins and dopamine and all these different neurotransmitters, which are associated with meditation and deep breathing and deep relaxation. And all that was being transferred to her child instead of adrenaline and cortisol and all of this, all of these different chemicals that cause you to become tense and stressed out and traumatized. So that child's potential to reach a high level of achievement as a human being was multiplied exponentially.
Wow.
Because that mother engaged in prenatal yoga, and that mother changed. She ate right, she breathed, she did her movements, her postures slowly and with control, and she passed that on to her child. So she broke the cycle. And that's how you got to break the cycle. That's the power of yoga. Real yoga, not just doing real fast positions and going in the heat and sweating to death and stuff, while everybody else is sweating out their toxins all around you and stuff, and you absorbing everybody's stuff, like the hot yoga, Bikram yoga. Because in a hot yoga, I mean, it's fine, right? I'm not going to say don't do that.
Right.
Think about the fact that when all those other people are sweating and releasing all that stuff, it's not just sweat or physical stuff that they're releasing that you're breathing in. They're releasing all kind of different psychic energy, and all of that stuff is being released into the atmosphere, and then you're breathing that in and all this stuff. In those classes, you be all close up on each other. So they talk about social distancing now. You should have been having some kind of social distancing in these yoga classes.
Now that's deep. I didn't even think of it like that.
That's what it is.
That's deep right now. Hey, everybody tuning in, everybody watching from YouTube and Facebook. I am here with, I say, the world renowned Yiser Hotep. He's schooling us right now. I'm looking at the comments. Somebody said we done brought the pastor to church because we're getting school right now, and I love the information. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come up and wrap up this live stream. I really want to go deeper into, like, you said so many things that just set off so many more questions, but to really understanding the importance of breath, spirit, the stillness, the slowness that yoga should be about. I want to talk more on that, but we'll come back after this short commercial break. Please, y'all, stay tuned. We're almost finished, and I know you guys are enjoying this conversation, and we'll be back.
I'm no yoga teacher. I'm not trying to teach you yoga. I just want to show you how to connect with your eternal being. Yoga helps me to be aware of myself. I know if it does it for me, I know it can do it for you. One day I was working on my root chakra with the crow pose, and it was really hard for me to find my balance. I noticed every time I lost balance, I would grab onto some grass to get me back balance. Then I get annoyed at myself because I felt that I shouldn't need the grass to help support me doing this pose. And then I had an aha moment. The grass, this earth, the air, everything in nature supports us 100%. The problem is we block the support because we think it makes us weak to receive help. Or worse, we feel that we are unworthy of the support that is divinely ours. And because of this, we block a lot of our blessings by not being open to receive support in the many ways it can manifest itself in our lives. We always have support.
My name is Megan Seard. I am the founder and CEO of Regime Beauty. It's a natural skincare company. I hand make all my products myself, and then I go out into the streets and sell them. Regime Beauty was really built out of necessity on so many levels. First and foremost, being a Black woman going into any store, whether it's Kroger's, Walgreens, a hair store, whatever, and looking for products that actually work for your skin, that have minimal ingredients and, do what you needed to do. I think it's funny that as Black women, we end up having to purchase products that are heavy duty or extra strength or something like that, as if our skin or our hair or melanin is a disease or a disorder or some sort of issue. And so creating a product for myself that was everything that I needed and also luxurious and, you know, pampering, and I enjoy using it, was like, okay, well, if I need this, I know other people do too. And so there's that aspect of it, but then there's also my own personal journey of, you know, becoming the woman that I'm supposed to be. And creating this company has given me the opportunity to grow into myself. My name is Megan Sear. I'm the founder and CEO of Regime Beauty, and I am a natural woman.
What's in your beard? Try Trey Unlimited, Honest Beard Cologne. Follow us today on social media at Trey Unlimited.
And we're back. Thank you guys for staying with us as we did a quick little commercial break. Hope everybody got a chance to go to the bathroom, get some water, whatever you needed. I am here with Yiser Hotep. He is, when it comes to Kemetic yoga, he is probably one of the first people that will pop up when you Google all over. I could say that he's world renowned and a master because a lot of people who are trained in Kemetic yoga, a lot of that training came from you and your organization and your programs. We have been having an amazing conversation, learning a lot of history when it comes to yoga, especially, you know, what I find interesting is how much yoga has been used to oppress just our culture and our people. Of like, a lot of this stuff has been hidden from our people, and people are just now knowing about it. And I love that you have made it a part of your life's mission to make sure that we have a chance to be able to experience and understand our history. So I just thank you for coming onto the platform and just sharing your wisdom. And thank you everybody for tuning in. This is a Natural Woman special for our 30 Days of Yoga segment. This is our last installment live that we're doing. We're on day 25. We just have 5 more days of the 30 Days of Yoga. So I hope everybody has been enjoying the benefits of yoga and have been able to add at least 30 minutes of yoga practices to your life since June 1st. We have talked about a lot, especially when it comes to the history and our African roots when it's connected to yoga. And we also, before we left break, we were speaking on how beneficial yoga is to people of color, especially. And he gave us an amazing response to that. And one thing that stuck out is the right way to do yoga, what yoga is. Because a lot of people think that yoga is all about poses. It's all about poses and never realize that it's a mind-body connection. So when I do yoga, I love yoga because it makes me feel back-centered and feel calm. Like if I'm stressed, I can literally feel, after I do a yoga session, the stress ease off of me. It's helped me when I was pregnant. It just helps on so many levels. I want to really talk about how important the breath is. I never really spoke with anybody during these live specials about how important the breath is. The spirit is definitely telling me, let's talk about this. So when you teach yoga to your students and in your programs, what do you tell everybody about the breath? Is the breath the first thing that people got to learn? Because a lot of people don't know how to breathe. Is that the first thing you teach them before you start the practice?
If you're doing yoga without knowledge of the breath, then you're not really doing yoga. You're just doing some stretching and some positions and stuff. Then if you're doing, because you see people doing certain types of Kemetic Egyptian type yoga, and they just doing this and they just be doing stuff. The breath is the foundation of everything. Breathing is what allows you to do yoga. Breathing is what allows you to get yogic. Now, if you don't really think about it and you just do some poses and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna automatically breathe deeper. You're gonna automatically expand your lungs and stuff because just doing something, if I just do like this and I bend over and I go over to the side or whatever, I don't have to inhale or exhale, but I'm still going to get some breathing benefit because my body's going to be forced to breathe.
Right.
But when you're practicing yoga, you want to consciously breathe. So now they got this big thing called mindfulness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this was a white guy out of Harvard or somewhere named John Kabat-Zinn, and he did some research and studied some Tibetan Buddhists and stuff like that. And so then he said, "Oh, I'm going to make up this mindfulness idea, right? Taking it from people who look like us, basically." And but when you practice your breathing, it actually causes you to become mindful. Because when you pay attention to your breath, you slowly breathe in and you slowly breathe out. And so in order to breathe in and out slowly, you have to be mindful. You have to pay attention. If your mind is wandering, you have to bring your mind back to the observation of your breathing. And so being concerned with the breath, being focused on breathing is what produces the strongest form of mindfulness. Because when you think about breathing, think about all of the stuff like, I'm not into the Bible and stuff like that, but even in the Bible, it say God took some dirt, shaped it into the shape of a person, and then he breathed the breath of life into the dirt. And then the dirt became animated, it became a person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our personhood is connected to breathing. You can go for weeks, months without eating food, right? I'm going on a 40-day fast. I didn't die.
Okay.
You can go without water for an extended period of time. You're not going to die. You can only go without breathing for about 5 minutes before your brain becomes dead, unless you learn certain yoga techniques that allow you to go much longer without breathing, okay? But on average, an average person is going to expire, after 5 minutes of not breathing. So your breath is the most important thing that you do. And most people never learn how to breathe. Most people who even do yoga, they don't know how to breathe.
Right.
Even the breathing that they teach in the modern yoga world is very superficial. They tell you to do this fast breathing. They tell you to do this superficial breathing. I'm not saying everybody does, but I'm saying a lot of times when you're in these commercial yoga meals, like they just rolling out yoga teachers and yoga practitioners, they're not really teaching you how to really breathe properly. When I studied flute, right?
Okay.
My teacher, he was a master of many things. His name was Phil Coran. But anytime before he played his instrument, he always would do long tones on his flute because that's how you prepare yourself to play all your other instruments. If you're a singer, if you're a real singer, you do certain breathing exercises and voice exercises. Even though you may be Whitney Houston or Erykah Badu or whoever, you're going to do these breathing exercises because prepares you to get to optimize your voice. And doing yoga is the same way. You have to start off with the fundamentals. The most basic thing is the breath. You have to breathe. And so when we teach Kemetic yoga, we take a 10-pound sandbag and we put it on your abdomen, and you got to learn how to breathe in and out from the abdomen with this sandbag on your belly, right? And this is going to tell you, it's going to help you to know where you need to pay attention when you breathe. You don't breathe up into your chest. You have to breathe. Before we even teach you to breathe all the way up, we teach you to breathe from the abdomen. Because it's like if you got a glass of water, you pour water into the glass, it goes to the bottom and it fills from the bottom up to the top. When you breathe, you got to breathe from the bottom up to the top. Mm-hmm. This area of your body, so right here where my thumb is, that's my navel. From my thumb down to where my finger is, that's my pubic bone. This is the area of your body where your life force resides. That means that when you was born, you had to have a certain energy or life force that was inside of you. We call it the fetal breath, like a fetus, the fetal breath.
Okay.
And then you have the external breath. So your whole lifetime needs to be spent feeding this fetal breath, allowing that energy to come here, because that's how you have longevity, and that's how you maintain youthfulness as you get chronologically older. Your body is not supposed to break down just because you live a certain number of years. Okay? And so the breath, maintaining the breath in a healthy place. When I talk about the breath, I'm talking about this energy, this life force here. You got to keep it coming in. You have this area of your body where this energy is stored. It has an unlimited capacity for how much life force and energy can be stored there. Your consciousness and your ability to manifest whatever you're going to do with your life is commensurate to how much energy and life force you have stored here. Because this life force is your motivating factor. This is what drives you and gives you the ability, the energy, the consciousness to become a higher being than what you are. When you look at images back in ancient Egypt, you see Imhotep. Imhotep was the way that they say it, they say he's the world's first multi-genius. He built the first pyramid. He was the first one to even think we should make this into a pyramid. He was the first one to even think to have that thought, right? He was an architect, an engineer. He was all kind of scientist. He was a writer. He was a priest. He was a scribe, and he practiced meditation. So like in India, they trace back their idea of yoga back to Patanjali, who wrote the Yoga Sutras. We trace back our idea of yoga to Imhotep. So when we want to understand yoga, we don't look to no writings of Patanjali, not to say nothing wrong with it, but we look back to Imhotep. He wrote stuff too. Our other ancestors wrote stuff too that's related to yoga. They didn't use the word yoga, but the whole civilization was based upon this whole idea of the breath, this whole idea of internal energy. Every place you look, you see a snake, you see serpents, kundalini, the nagas. That's all over here. I'll even show you one now. Even in the sparrows on his head, coming out his third eye is a snake, a serpent. When we see Ma'at, this is a yoga position that she's doing. She's got the feather of Ma'at. That means your consciousness that's measured by your weight of your heart symbolically has to be as light as this feather. You're supposed to live your life in such a way that you don't have a lot of negative energy. And so the heart is the seat of consciousness, not the brain. Okay, it's a lot of different stuff. We can,
Yeah. Hey, I'm looking at these comments. People are loving it. Chandra Tyson, she says this content is so rich. Love the breath analysis and mindfulness definition. We must feed the fetal breath. The breath is our life force. It helps us achieve our higher self. I absolutely agree with you, Chandra. This is definitely rich. Nikki Washington, she says, I'm really enjoying this episode, Queen. I appreciate your wisdom. Yiser, Hotep. This has been amazing. I wish we can continue to talk and talk and talk. But as you guys already know, y'all know how Natural Woman does. We bring the good content, but we're almost at that time where we have to wrap up. So let's take these last few minutes, Yiser, and tell us where we can find more information about you. What do you have coming up? Do you have classes? Do you teach? Because I know people want to get more of this wisdom.
Okay. Well, since we're in this time of the virus, I'm doing a lot of online courses. So I have an online teacher certification course that I'm doing, the 200-hour Yoga Alliance type of course. But it's all in Kemetic yoga and what I call yoga skills method. Okay. And then I'm doing a mini studying in the online 200-hour course, they can be started anytime. So anybody wants to do that, they'll get all the information and all the different things that they need to have. And it's at it's on the website, yogaskills.com. And then I have an online mini certification course that's starting in September. And it's dealing with, it's a mini certification, but we're gonna have a focus on dealing with the trauma of racial oppression. Okay. And so so that's gonna be part of the theme of this 4-week mini certification course. So you'll be able to get 35 hours of CEUs in yoga. If you're already certified, you want to just get that for a Yoga Alliance. But you're gonna get a lot of insight into how to heal racial trauma, the internalized trauma that we have as a consequence of simply existing in Black skin. So we're gonna get into that because the methodology of Kemetic yoga, I think, is the perfect remedy because of the fact that it's slow, because of the fact that it uses the breath, and also because of the fact that it connects you to your own ancestors. You're not thinking about Krishna and Shiva and all those kind of people like that. You're thinking about
Ma'at, yeah.
Us, our own stuff that comes from us. Ain't nothing wrong with all the other folks, but we got to connect with our own ancestors and our own conceptualizations of divinity.
This is medicine tonight. That's so true, y'all. If y'all don't feel that, if y'all don't get that, because the world really tries to stop us and sway us away from learning more about ourselves. It kind of shields us, and we should, when it comes to learning things, learn from us, learn from our ancestors. We need to get back into the habit of that. So make sure you guys check out www.yogaskills.com. All right. Like, I know these are certification class, y'all, but these sound like some homeschool lessons too for the babies. So I know a lot of y'all about to be starting homeschool. Definitely adding yoga to the practice and this history. This is amazing. This is powerful. I thank you so much for just being a part of this platform and just sharing just your wisdom. It's always an honor. I'm going to post the link in Facebook so you guys can check it out. Are there any last words you want to leave us with?
I love teaching children, and so on our YouTube channel we have some free instructional videos for children. So you go to youtube.com/yoga skills, and you should be able to go there and you can have your children practice yoga. We got a meditation video, and we have a yoga movements and postures video for children that also has some storytelling, because I like to tell stories too, right? And so it has some storytelling to it that's geared towards children. And in July, we're starting back our retreat. So we'll be having our Healing Sun Kemetic Yoga Retreat in Jamaica, which is also a teacher training course. We'll be going to Kemetic or Egypt in November, where we'll be having a tour of ancient Egypt, as well as a Kemetic yoga teacher training and certification. So a lot of stuff is going on. Everything is on the website. But the main thing I want to say is everybody should breathe. If you just take out 5, 10, 15 minutes just to breathe and learn how to do your yoga practices slowly and with the breath, and try to move and circulate energy. That's what it's about. The more you circulate energy, the more you circulate life force through the energy channels of your body, the more healing that you're going to achieve for yourself. It's going to change you on an internal molecular level, a cellular level, an atomic level.
I love it. I love speaking. It makes me feel good. I know y'all feeling the same thing. Like he's giving us some medicine right now. So make sure y'all check out Yoga Skills. I put the link to the YouTube in the comment section on Facebook and on YouTube. And I also added the website on Facebook and YouTube in the comment section as well. I thank you so much just for taking the time out of your day to be here with us. I know this was very, very beneficial. And I thank everybody who has joined and participated in the 30 Days of Yoga Challenge. It has been awesome for me. I'm glad I really pushed myself to stay dedicated, because I have slacked off a lot, because I don't do yoga for any type of recognition, but just to feel good. And I'm just glad I had that motivation to do so and to bring some amazing people onto this platform. I thank you all for tuning in and watching. This does conclude our last installment for 30 Days of Yoga. I thank you, Yiser, so much for coming onto this platform. And I know we'll be having you on again very soon.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you creating this platform so that our people can get knowledge from a lot of different sources. So thank you very much.
Ashe. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. But until next time, peace.